Hey guys. Okay. All right. I want you to just kind of orient yourself back to this present moment, noticing any sensations you may notice in your body, a tightness, a tingling, a coolness, or nothing at all. You might have cramps. You might have loosened up some stagnant energy in that womb and got some stuff moving. It's not about fixing. Um, a lot of times when we, speaking for myself, um, again, I judged myself for so long because I knew that I think differently and I process things differently. And whenever I deliver a message, that usually requires me to have to deliver more information so that that person I am speaking to can then even understand to try to relate to what I'm saying, if that makes sense. But I've realized that that was an injustice to myself because the medicine is in my messiness in my words, because every single word needs to be told in order for it to do what it needs to do. I love to talk, I love to ramble, and I love to hear other people telling their stories because I love to see people not judging and not being hateful and just exploring the situations and circumstances and recognizing that it is what it is and you have this information and you literally can do whatever you want with it. So that's when I decided that, okay, my mom's gone. She was the only person that was like me in my life. So I have nobody that I can bounce ideas with that comes from similar labyrinths like me, because we ours were so similar. Anyway, um, that's when I found Layla Martin. I found attachment theory. I uh, I made it a mission to meet myself, to explore me, because I felt like that my mother died with such a beautiful story that she never got to complete or tell. And this is my opportunity to make sure that that does not happen to me. Thankfully, I'm able to piece all the breadcrumbs and put together what my mother has left me together before she even had the language for it. And she's left me a lot of things along the way. And, from Kundalini um, to sound baths to all of my apothecary and dried herbs and um, essential oils and altar just she had a beautiful eye. She loved nice things and textures and like art. So yeah, I remember my first memory, like I remember like watching National Geographic and the Discovery Channel on the weekends with my grandfather because we always go over every Sunday. And I'd sit on the recliner and we watch that and thumb through his magazines because he had a subscription. And I always wanted to be a National Geographic photographer, a photojournalist. I wanted to do Doctors Without Borders, but without the doctor part. Um, I wanted to do humanitarian work. I wanted to save the world. So I pulled from that. And that's what I'm doing. I am exploring my mind with childlike wonder without judging it and without shaming it. And I am allowing myself to buy me squishmallows and velvet sheets and fidget toys and whatever that looks like. I'm going to continue to explore it because I tried to do what everyone else told me was what I needed to make my brain work the way it was supposed to. And that turned out to be incorrect information. And I know those people didn't vindictively lead me almost into psychosis, but it did. And I'm not a child anymore, but I can use that childlike wonder and innocence and not judge the people and use it to help me explore my mind. And that's going to include me having to tell some stories that happened because that's my story, how the medical system failed me, how my parents failed me, how our law enforcement failed me, how the system failed me all the way around. And that's okay because I am conscious enough that I'm able to look at it as hurt people, and they are not doing this intentionally. Either they're doing it fear of their own self, or they're doing it because they're honestly just that gaslit and brainwashed that they're not recognizing it. Because again, I told you my views on women and in the house, how like those words used to come out of my mouth, and I promise you, I believed that. Like I felt every word of it in my body. I really did. Like that was my truth. No shit. Ugh. Um, so that meant the first step of this was um the language, right? I had to develop a word bank and correct data to replace the distorted information that I had had. You know, that if you're BPD, bipolar, anxious, avoidant, ADHD, depressant, like that's going to be with you for forever, but that's not the case. And also, there are alternatives to prescription medications. There are other ways. Now, if you don't have private insurance or any insurance, you probably don't notice this because if you have government insurance, they're cattle herders, right? They don't, they're making their commission off the fucking pills they prescribed you, right? Um, anyway, uh, and like I said, I know my mother was a nurse practitioner, and before she died, which she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, 3 weeks later died, complete sepsis, 2 days after fucking chemo, which she was leaving the Western medicine field. She was studying to be a naturopathic healer because of the fact that she like the it killed her. She could like she would stay hours after charting because instead of taking away time from her patients and not being able to talk to them, like she would, do the charting after, but she had to do it daily because she'd forget because but anyway, that was just my mother. So that's what I witnessed. I watched a mother give till it killed her. Literally, a mother that had no self respect, had no idea of her value and worth. The woman died not knowing how fucking special she was. Do you know how sad that is? But also beautiful because she knows now, and now I know. That broke with me, that generational curse. Like, no body that comes out of me will ever die not knowing that their worth and that their every fucking breath is valid 100% of the time. And I think that's a rare thing. And I didn't recognize it. And then I also had a narcissistic father uh, who was illiterate, but very business. He was good at manipulating to make. He was a good businessman. Uh, he was good in the patriarchy. So when you have a woman who on her honeymoon was when she got a taste of reality when she woke up to getting bitched out for water spots on the faucet sink in their hotel room. Um, and then when they divorced, she never dated for 21 years, 20 years until she died. So that just goes to show you, I don't come from normal women. I come from a line of some savage, very intelligent, connected women who were completely fucking unaware. Like I'm telling you, my mom, oh, my mom was magical. And I knew it before I even knew magic was real. When I was still thinking God was a white man in the sky, my mom was magical. Funny story, my Pentecostal church used to always say, there's a witch in here. We got to pray her out. We got to pray out the witch. We got to pray out the witch. I wonder if they were fortune telling the future or projecting, right? Or pattern recognizing. You know, it's okay. I mean, they're all a part of the same fight. We just went a level deeper. I think that's, when you look at things like Squid Games, um, let's look at it from ground level up. This is how I approach everything in my life. And I think this is what sets me apart. So I think that that's what I need to explain to people. So I think that's why me rambling is important because I work out these things out loud and in my head as I'm talking. I'm receiving like that's what I do. I don't know what it is. It's not woo woo. It's more of pattern recognition and assume. I don't know what it is, but it makes me feel good when I do it. So if you build it, they will come. So I'm putting it out there. If you see it, you like it, you dig it, and it resonates, come back for more. And if not, then, you know, if you didn't watch it all the way or like it or interact with it, I shouldn't pop back up in your algorithm. Or you can hide me if you want. But like that's my thing is I have a message and I think like, oh, I was now I understand like what a pick me girl is like I have such a message and I know it's going to change everybody's lives that I just want to shove it down everybody's throat. But I got to remember, hey, all of this was available to me 40 years ago too, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Um, I didn't find it until it was time from someone who was doing what I'm doing now. That's why I continue to show up. Um, Alrighty. So, what time? Where are we? There's my countdown. 23 minutes. Okay. Do you guys want to pause right here real quick? I'm gonna go fix me something warm because I have the worst cramps now. Uh, I moving some stuff. So I'm gonna go fix me a warm compress and fix me some probably hot cocoa. And how about we meet back here in 10? Does that sound good to everybody? Yeah. And then yeah. Okay. Mm, yeah. I'll yeah, I'll let the playlist run when I yeah. Yeah. So yeah, go resource yourself and then whenever we come back, we'll do some little exploration work in our felt senses kind of play around with what we're feeling and I don't know, maybe end up in some quantum healing stuff because I need to do something with this womb space. So both of my ovaries are hurting. So, all right, guys, 10 minutes, meet back here. All right, guys. Um, all right, I'm gonna guide you through a little practice or an exercise or whatever you want to call it. Um, if you have your song ready or you already know the drill. If you don't have the Spotify playlist already, it's in the comments section. And if not, can somebody bump it up and repost it for anybody? Okay. All right. I'm not going to put on any music on this end. All right. Everybody, get seated or lie down. We just want to take a second to just orient to where we are, the temperature of the room, the space we have between us. We're just sitting, no fixing or healing, just noticing where you're at in the body. So put one hand, your dominant hand, somewhere that feels neutral or safe. That could be your heart, your stomach, chest, thigh, whatever. No rules. Keep your eyes open, closed. As long as you're listening to your body, you're good. And we just want to notice our breathing. Don't change it. How are you naturally breathing right now? In through your nose, out through your mouth? Just pay attention. Just notice where your body is touching something. The chair, the floor, the bed. Nothing else to do. If you find yourself lost in a train of thought and you come back, it's okay. You don't have to know where you are. Just fall back in. It's normal. Just gently come back to a physical sensation. Warmth, tightness, pressure, numb, anything. See if there's one place in your body that feels even 2% steadier than the rest. Stay with that. That's it. That's the center. It's not mystical or woo-woo and spiritual. It's just regulated enough. Mm. I want you to remember this part of you that feels resourced and safe. And I want you to create a visual around it. It could be a totem, it could be I have a koi pond with hundreds of beautiful koi fish that have all been energies that have come up to be witnessed, to be helped. And when I find an energy that I know I need to come back to, or I'm going to want to come back to, I'll assign it a visual fish and let him go in the pond. So that way, whenever he's ready to resurface, or if I need to feel resourced, I know I can go and find him, and I'll be able to remember that resourced spot in me. If you feel calmer, that's great. If you feel restless, that's also great. Awareness is the win here. Not feeling good. And remember, this is like a just sit with yourself exercise. There's no instruction to get it right. Just notice your body while the music plays. You can start to rub your legs or shake your hands, blink your eyes, roll your shoulders. Just start coming back. So, if that resourced space is still alive and present in you right now, that's an energetic signature, or that was you recognizing a resourced safe space in your body, probably after your entire life of not being resourced. And I know that it sounds weird, that what I'm about to say about how it can be overwhelming when you're finally witnessed and seen and met where you're at by someone other than yourself. Um, that can be heavy. So just remember, like, this might seem like a little bitty thing you did or nothing at all, but give your body a few days, hours to integrate, and don't think to just allow what happened to happen. So when we find spaces like this in ourselves that are resourced, this is a beautiful time that we can reframe some of the bigger, longer, older, limited beliefs or limited limits that we've put on ourselves, where we've boxed ourselves in. Um, like with BPD and mental health diagnoses, a lot of us got labeled BPD, anxious, codependent, autistic, too much and too intense. And we always thought that that was something we needed to fix and change about ourselves. But what if none of that was actually a flaw? Uh, what if it was just your untrained power? Yeah. The entire time your body was just trying to answer you and tell you where you needed to go to heal. Um, and because of the time of evolution we were at that time, it was best just to give you a prescription to suppress it so that way they can continue with what was going on. But we're in a different world today, and that's okay. But we can know that in our heads and, uh, not educate, but intellectually. But that's not what's going on energetically, and that's not what our body's feeling or interpreting. So, by meeting that resourced space, we're revisiting these ideas from a regulated nervous system so we can rewrite them. So, a way you can reframe BPD, uh, if you have BPD, you know that like like you're a special person. That's a common thing. Like it could look like codependency, anxiously attached. So when you're in a relationship, like that person is your everything. You completely lose your identity and you get enmeshed in that person. You become obsessed and like you just, that is your only tunnel vision, right? So you can use that tunnel vision, okay? All right. So if you're obsessing over a person, okay, if it was a friendship that ended or a relationship or a parent, whatever that special person is, like what, so for me, the person I was obsessed with, like they were really creative and they made things with their hands and they always listened to loud music and played it loudly and didn't care what people thought if they pulled up and they were a grown adult bumping music. Like they just didn't care. They were happy and in their zone. And I was like, oh my gosh, turn it down. People are going to stare at us. They're going to think that's inappropriate. Oh my gosh, what if like this, like, and so by me not judging myself and saying, "Oh, you have BPD, you're crazy, the obsessed ex-girlfriend." Um, no. Okay. We also have to remember we're sought after. There's a reason the type of person that we ended up with found us. Okay. So they're not innocent bystanders. But this isn't about them. This is about us. So instead of me being like, oh, well, if he'd have just told me he found somebody else, he could have just told me he didn't want to, like if he'd have just told me, blah, blah. No, okay. That's not the point. Like, that's what the point is, ooh, I remember what part of me felt alive when I was with him. I started to paint again. I started to listen to music again and dance. I started to, you know, uh, but whatever, maybe this person is a collector or likes to go to art galleries and you got into that, and you or maybe they're an outdoors person and you started hunting and fishing again, or gardening. Like, there was something that that person inspired and awoken in you that is trying to come back online. And that's a way we can use that obsession in a healthy way. It's there regardless. So stop trying to pretend like it's not and stop trying to act like it's wrong and it needs to go away. Alchemize it, transmute it, regulate your nervous system so that way you're not off your rocker when an emotion occurs and you don't go into this dark limerence and depressed and can't get out of bed for a month. No, you can use it as, oh yeah, fucking right. This makes me want to put on an inspiring playlist and dance around and write a cool new chapter in my book or for my blog or for my newsletter, right? How can you turn something that you can't get rid of and that is affecting you in your life and your brain and turn it into something that can propel you? because crying about it and shaming it every day is not going to do anything. This is how we make the difference and the change. Okay. It's hyper-attuned nervous system shaped by inconsistent attachment. And again, you know, when we learn this, we're like, oh, no wonder. Okay, I understand it now. So it's extreme emotional literacy, the ability to read subtext, power dynamics, and emotional shifts. Deep empathy plus boundaries, learning over time. Had I had a regulated nervous system, I would not have been confused on whether he was cheating or not, right? I would have been able to use my discernment to interpret all the facts and proofs that was in front of me, right? But I was just so worried about one thing. I didn't think of gambling or relapse or any all I thought was his dick and some other bitch. And that was because I was obsessed with him. Like I idolized him just like he did to me. It was the best sex I had ever had in my life. And I was addicted to it. Now, granted, he knew that too and he allowed it to happen, but it just goes to show you how hurt people just perpetuate this cycle and it just so remember you didn't feel too much, you felt accurately in unsafe environments and don't let anyone try to convince you otherwise. Oh, it's 55-55. um So, like, take it as an activism angle, you know. Remember, I said I'm doing child work, inner child healing. Like, an investigative journalist was always fun to me. So, and now I want to be like this feminist because I literally, like I said, I literally believed those things that I used to think. So now, like, you can spot manipulation, coercion, emotional harm fast. You can speak for people who don't yet have the language. You challenge systems that gaslit lived emotional truth. So you become a translator of relational harm, and your content becomes what fuels others that can't articulate what they're feeling. Um, Autism, you know, if you have a touch of the tism, Um, special interest, right? Again, activism work, journalism, going down rabbit holes, you special interests. You can bug. So what? Okay. So you have neuroticism and you'll go down a rabbit hole and not sleep for 3 days. Okay. Get out a notebook and fill up that one notebook. Stick on topic. Watch all videos on the topic so you're not scattered all over. So that way, once you finish your neuroticism special interest spiral, at least you'll have a piece of content to put out there or a course or a lecture or a workshop. It's all about perception and alchemizing and are you going to be the victim? Or are you going to make a change? It's devotion. It's not obsession. You can alchemize it. It becomes deep focus, pattern mapping, building frameworks, language, and systems from scratch. Your brain doesn't skim life. It literally dives. You research deeply instead of reacting shallowly. You connect dots across psychology, spirituality, power, and trauma, and you don't let things stay vague or watered down. That is the important part. Watering shit down is because, yeah, then we just become the person turning the dial on the radio, not understanding the knob is off its thread and it's not adding up. So your brand becomes a body of work, not trends. People trust you because you've gone all the way down the rabbit hole and you've hit every angle of it and you've been authentic to yourself and you've shown that you're trustworthy and that you're a voice of change. And it shows people how they can literally alchemize the ugliest things about them that people think that they're like, you have BPD. Oh my God, scarlet letter. You might as well, right? Everybody loves the crazy girlfriend because they think she's all whips and chains and candle wax, right? Until her pattern recognition on steroids and attention to detail and tonal shifts makes you think you're going crazy because you don't understand. Yeah. And then like anxious attachment, just do like, you know, um, whatever you're yearning to do with another person, do it for yourself. That's a like whatever. Do it, show up for yourself. Take yourself on a date, pour yourself the bubble bath, run yourself bath water every night. Put yourself rose petals in the tub. Go stop on the side of the road and pull yourself some wildflowers. You know, you can alchemize. I mean, that's loyalty. If you have boundaries and safety, and you remember your anxious roots and your dedication, but you come from a healthy, uh, regulated nervous system, that's loyalty and consistency and a willingness to stay, work, try to repair things, but with the healthy boundaries. That's the important part. So you don't abandon the causes when it gets uncomfortable. You're happy to be tested. You're not here to be right. You're here to learn to more. You're here for the experience, right? All right. We're at an hour, so we're gonna try to wrap this up. Um, why this becomes activism at 44? In my 20s, these traits almost destroyed me. In my 30s, I learned to regulate them, and in my 40s, I get to aim them. 44 isn't late, it's integrated power, and that's how this world is designed. You want to know the answers to the universe? Look to nature. Everything works on a cyclical cycle through time and time again, through monarchs, through leaderships, through patriarchies, through catastrophic events. The one thing that is certain is that darkness will always come to light and things will always burn to the ground right before the most beautiful rebranding. There's a reason why stories like Beauty from Ashes are told amongst every culture, just in different language. And if we just try to slow down and recognize we are all fighting for the same thing, we just have to figure out if the bigger picture is more important than you having the one and only method and solution. Because I think religion can show us that. Just look at Christianity from Pentecostal and then Catholicism. You'd swear it was Satan versus God. They're on the same, they're reading the same book and they still don't see it because we want to be right. We don't realize that there's space for everybody to be that special. So, all right, guys. Thank you. This was a beautiful live. Um, yeah, and I can't wait to do it all again tomorrow. All right, guys. Mwah.